This week's episode of Empower Hour. I'm Lindsay, Helm, founder and CEO of Empower Employee. Empower Employee provides sourcing, education, technology solutions for companies and veterans and military spouses. On Empower Hour, we'll be discussing the employment landscape of the military community and introducing the change makers and their programs in this space. This week's guest is Theda Johnson. Theda is has 15 years of experience in HR and talent acquisition. Her experience includes small, medium, and large teams and leadership of human resources, frontline metrics-based recruitment, and talent programs in the area of DE&I in the military community. In her career, she has developed and implemented a grassroots military recruitment strategy on national and global levels for Fortune 50 companies and helping them achieve their military hiring initiative. She continues her passion in supporting and mentoring the military community daily, and her passion stems from being a part of a military family. Her mother was a lieutenant in the United States Navy, and her father was enlisted as a Marine. In her current role, she recruits at DocuSign, and DocuSign is focusing on engineering partner alliances and business development management roles. Welcome to my Empower Hour, the empowered Theda Johnson.
Hi.
Hey, welcome. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to have you here. So let's get straight to it in the hot seat. Tell me a little bit, or tell the world a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Awesome. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Lindsay. My name is Theda Johnson. I am a career recruiter. I've recruited everything from frontline sales positions to leadership to technical individuals and technical leadership as well.
Nice. So let's see. Where we go? Oh, I wanted to get all the questions right today. All right. So tell me your story as a member of a military family. What was it like growing up? As I think you said, your parents were active duty, so that makes you a really awesome dependent. I have military children, so I'm really interested in hearing about your experience and what got you to where you are today.
Yeah, so I was born on an actual naval base. So my mom was active duty, had just got off shift, and I decided it was time to party, and I was coming out. I was born when my mom was on active duty. My dad had already separated at that time, and we were stationed at Great Lakes Naval Hospital. My mom was in the United States Navy Nurse Corps, they being raised by a female officer definitely put a lot of the military culture and the morals and the values and just the overall work ethic into who I am as a person. And so I attribute all of my success and all of my success in the military space, especially not being a member myself, and I've never served, to my mom. She's taught me a lot. I didn't know everything that she had taught me until I became an adult. So it was interesting. Definitely she got out when I was about 3, unfortunately, and moved from Chicago to Colorado, and have been here ever since. And I still look up to the lieutenant. I still talk to her about a lot of things while she was in the military, and even more so now after having 15 years and the last 10 military specific under my belt recruiting the military community.
I love that. Actually, I'd say the same thing about my mom, and she jokingly, because Mother's Day is coming up. Side note, I know I don't want to squirrel you guys, but if you didn't mark your calendars, make sure you get your mom a gift. My mom asked me if she could sit at my desk when she comes to visit us next week and be the CEO of Empower Employee. So maybe next week while she's here, I will let her hashtag take the helm, and we'll take pictures and pop up about it. Cannot give enough credit to our moms. We talk about it forever. Shout out to the moms. And then, of course, I was active duty, and I have 3 children, and I chose my children, over active duty because they're dad and whatever. So I totally get it. And again, so cool of your mom to be able to do that. So currently, right now, we know you're at DocuSign. What positions are you working on now? Are they remote? Are you comfortable discussing, salary brackets? And give us the deets. We need the details.
Get down and dirty with the details. Okay. Yeah, so I'm actually in a unique position at DocuSign. So typically recruiters at DocuSign are aligned to certain verticals, right? I came to DocuSign and I started in the foundation side of the house, which is engineering. And then they had a need for the G3 side of the house, which is business development, sales, compensation analysts, things like that. And so I rose my hand because I've done everything in my career, right? And honestly, it's a nice balance between the high tech individuals and the non-tech individual. So I currently recruit for 2 different verticals, the engineering side and then also kind of that BD side. So I have everything from super engineering software developers to partner alliance managers, which is essentially like an enablement manager. I have business development managers. I have integration PAMs. So all not necessarily field sales, but kind of that sales support type of situation.
Got it. And then as far as, how to get in contact with you, or what's the best way to get in contact with your teams?
Well, if you're looking for certain verticals or recruiters, the best way is to follow actually our sourcers on LinkedIn. So we have some really powerhouse sourcers on LinkedIn, and they are really good at sharing information. Jasmine Turner being one of them. But if you follow the sourcers, you're going to know all of the things that are being recruited for at that point. You are more than welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. I do my best to get on there at least a few times a week and reply to any messages and things like that. But I'm an open book. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can email me. It's, Theda.Johnson at DocuSign. I'm happy to reach out and have conversations and help any way that I can.
And what's the best piece of advice you could give to the community right now?
Oh, I think the best piece of advice, and I thought about this for a while when you asked me this question to prepare for this, and there's so much, right? But I think my number one piece of advice would be to use your resources, because as a military community member who is job seeking or transitioning, you have so many more things at your service. Whether it's free resume writings, you should never be paying for resume writings ever in your life as a military service member or spouse. You have so many other things and programs and institutions and people that want to help you find the right role. Utilize those resources and utilize your network. That's my biggest piece of advice.
Okay, that's good advice. It is solid. Like, my network has been, I can't even begin to tell you that there's no dollar value. It's priceless. There's a dollar value amount on my current network. And I'd say that as a small business, the leads that come in from referrals of my friends and like people that I know. Like, I've just been so lucky to feel so supported. So I totally agree with you there. And here is my favorite question, one of my favorites. All right, ma'am, what is your truth behind the recruiting? Not just the good, but the downright bad and ugly. # truth be told.
Yeah, I think, I have 2 answers to this question, one personal and one from a candidate perspective. From a personal perspective, at the end of the day, recruiters generally want to help everybody, and we really want to hire everybody. And it's hard for us because we are human. And I think people forget that these recruiters actually do have feelings, and they do have, and we get so invested in the candidates. You know what I mean? We get so invested. And especially when you're in a specialty position like this, I get so invested in everybody. I want to hire every military service member and spouse I ever come in contact with, but I can't. I just can't. And you can't force a square peg into a circle hole. You know what I mean? And so all that we can do is just do the best that we can to connect cross-functionally with other companies and other people that we know. So that's the hard part, right? The down and dirty truth for candidates is you don't know what you don't know. And the only way that you're going to figure that out is by putting yourself out there. And it's really hard to network. I get it. It's really hard to talk about yourself, but you have to, because that's the only way that you're going to get to where you want to go. And I think a lot of people don't realize the importance of networking at this stage in the just recruiting industry. Long gone are the days that you can just submit an application and get a phone call. You almost have to know somebody at this point. And so it's hard to do that. And especially when you're transitioning and there's all that stress that goes along with it, and you're trying to figure out life, and you've been in the military for forever. And so you don't know what it's like to be a civilian. Like, I get it. And that's where that network comes back. Find somebody that you have a commonality with. Talk to military specific recruiters, because they understand and they get it, right? They have specialized training or lots of experience. Talk to military veteran affairs at different companies and their leaders. You have a bunch of people out there. All you have to do is reach out and ask.
It's true. And fun fact, I actually get really nervous when I have to approach people, and I want to be like, my trait is when I ramble and then I stumble, and it's really embarrassing. So I would just tell people, practice ahead of time, write up what I call swipe copy, and it can still be warm, just something that lays out kind of who you are where you're coming from, what position you applied to, your expected salary rate, like, and a link to book time on your calendar. Like, make it easy on me so I don't have to chase you down. And I totally agree with you there. So, okay, here is our very last question. You've been so good at answering everything. So last question is, as a military dependent and traveling around the world, what was your favorite duty station and why?
I was really young when my mom in the 80s had a decision she had to make that she did not want to make, right? Back in those days, it was military or family. You couldn't have both. So very lucky nowadays where there's support there. But, from what I remember, Chicago is my second favorite city in the whole United States. I love Chicago. I feel whenever I get off the plane in Chicago or Philadelphia, that's my top one. That's my top city. I start smiling like an idiot for no reason. But my mom was stationed in the Philippines for 2 years prior to my birth, and I don't know if I would want to be there. But it is what it is. But I am bummed that I didn't get to grow up in the military to a certain extent because of the cool destinations. But at the same point in time, knowing myself, would I have been a successful child? I don't know. But you never know. But I do have a fondness in my heart for Chicago specifically. So, take what we can get.
Yeah, I'm like, I could get it on Chicago. We obviously know it would just be for the pizza. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
But
just Chicago food summer in general, when they have the food, I forget what they call it. They have all the food in Millennium Park and stuff. It's just amazing.
Food fest. Okay.
Yes.
Well, Theda, I want to thank you so much for joining us on Empower Hour. Everyone, please check out Theda and follow her on LinkedIn and DocuSign. Also, please take a minute to hit the follow button at Empower Employee and on my profile so you don't miss these wonderful Empower Hours that are every week. So follow us along. If you want to learn more about Empower Employee, our sourcing or job postings, or meet our partners over here and be introduced to our network, just reach out to us at www.empoweremployee.us. Tune in next week to meet our next guest over on Sourceright, Karen Childress-Wiley, as we discuss her growth to where she is and building teams at Ronstadt. Have a wonderful week, everyone.
Thanks, Lindsay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.